So thank you. Today I'm going to talk to you about how we can strengthen and improve our educational systems. It's a question we've all been wondering, and I want to explore it together. We know that quality education depends on the quality of our educators. The teachers are integral to the student achievement. School leaders are integral to the school culture. But we also know that we have a bit of a crisis on our hands. In 2016, the UNESCO report predicted that to meet the Education 2030 goals, we will need 69 million more teachers. And they talked about how there's a lack of training, there was unattractive working conditions, and there were inadequate funding in our systems. And that this was contributing to a global crisis in learning. And that was 2016. March 2020 sent us a new experience. The COVID pandemic has reignited the global teacher shortage conversation. And it's something personally, when I started in 2000 as a teacher in the Western Quebec School Board in Quebec, Canada, we've always been struggling with. But now it's even more prominent. And the question is, how do we attract, retain our teachers and our leaders in our school systems? So many things to think about. And when I do my deepest thinking, I often work in metaphors. So I want to introduce the metaphor of the spider web, and for us to think about how we are leveraging the expertise that's already within our system and creating a professional growth culture for all. So we know, or at least I now know, that spider webs are rebuilt every day. Spiders think big in their design. We know that they don't actually intercept prey, which I thought was the case. They attract them. We also know that in the design of the web, it's not only the spun silk, but it is also the design. So how we think about the design matters in our attraction. If one area of a spider web is disturbed, we feel it across the web. And importantly, especially after our experience of the pandemic, failure in one area will not cause the entire web to collapse. So I want us to think about that when we think about our own systems and the webs that we have in place, and whether we are attracting members to our system, and how are we thinking about their professional growth and also growing the top. So thinking across the system. So one of the interesting things I had an opportunity to do in 2019 was lead a major research project in the province of Quebec supporting the English language school board. So 9 English language school boards. And we were looking at mentorship and we were looking at leadership. And then we had the COVID pandemic. And it was a great opportunity for us to also explore the experience of teachers during this time. We found out a lot of really interesting information, but one thing shocked us to the core. So we had 504 respondents. They were teachers, they were pedagogical consultants, they were vice principals, principals, directors, superintendents, the whole system. People who gave up 20 minutes in June, that's the end of our school year, in the middle of the pandemic, to do this questionnaire. So you're thinking engaged members of our community. We found 33% responded that they agree or positively agree to our question, I regularly consider leaving the profession. And we wondered, is this just our early career teachers that are responding? So we aggregated the data and found out actually 55% of our respondents had over 16 years of experience. So this means the most experienced teachers in our system were regularly considering leaving the profession. So it made us really think about how are we actually going to not only recruit, but how are we going to retain not only our early career teachers, but all teachers in our system? How do we attract people in our net and in our spider web? So if I want you to think about How well do we attract students into teacher education? How well are we in conversation and community with the teacher education sites? How are we supporting them and telling them about the attraction of our career? How are they embedded in these conversations? And then when teachers come to us as early career teachers, what supports do they have? Do we have rigorous and effective induction programs? And for my doctoral research, it's clear mentoring and coaching has to be a clear element, and it can't be left to chance. It must be structured, and it must really be thoughtful around time for teachers to work together, ongoing and sustained support, opportunities to visit other classrooms, and feedback for growth that's not only evaluative from a caring person, a caring supporter. So you have all of these elements that need to happen in your first year. And then as teachers move into their second and third year, which we know is the steep learning curve from all the research, first 3 years, and then it levels off after year 4, what are we doing for our second and third year teachers? Maybe it's more mentoring and coaching. Maybe it's different types of collaborative work and joint opportunities to co-plan, co-teach, co-construct. What are we doing in our spiderweb to support those members of our community? And then you have the educators in the 4+ range. Those educators are 16 years or more in our system. What are we doing to grow those members in our web? Are we thinking about the different opportunities for collaboration? Do we have opportunities for leadership? So one of the key impacts from the research study I did in my doctoral studies was finding out that actually being a mentor coach as an experienced teacher provided professional growth opportunities and improved well-being. So it was an opportunity to learn how to work with other adults, not just children, so a new skill set, how to develop coaching skills, which is a process and an approach, and how to think together about practice, and it improved their own practice and that of their colleagues. So maybe being a mentor coach is a great opportunity for leadership. Maybe it's also opportunity to have other sorts of leadership, but being in a supported role. So as we move through the system, we then have teachers who we hope will become our leaders. Do they have mentor coaches in their first year? Because they're going through that learning curve too. So what are we doing to support our principals and vice principals and consultants in years 1, 2, 3? How do we give them opportunities for growth? Directors, superintendents. What is our spider web looking like? And so I want to return to the idea of a metaphor and challenge you to think about the expertise that is in your system right now, that we're in danger of losing if we don't pay attention to supporting the professional growth culture in our schools and our systems and providing opportunities for everyone to learn and grow and be engaged. Thank you.